Tottenham On Tour. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are watching this. It's Brian from Tottenham On Tour, here to discuss all things transfer window and a few other things. Obviously, I was very quiet on YouTube yesterday. I thought, you know what, after the Porro deal was collapsing on Monday, I thought, you know what, let's take a day away, not appear on anything, evaluate, and then obviously speak on my own channel or on our own channel with the guys Tottenham On Tour to discuss everything that's happened. So we're going to start with players in. Now, obviously, had two players come in, Danjuma and Porro. So let's break this down. Danjuma has come in. When we first were linked with him, the way it happened and everything, I went across all platforms saying, we have done this like a pack of starving hyenas waltzing through the jungle looking for scraps. And I still stand by it. I still stand by it. I don't think there was any interest before. Obviously, the heat on Levy out and Edic out was rising. And you look at this deal which came out of thin air. He'd already done his media work, his paperwork and medical and everything at Everton. And we went and took him. Could it turn out to be a good site acquisition? Yeah, it could do. It really could do. People are getting excited saying like Kulusevski and Bentancur. Do I think he's going to be that? No, not at all. But obviously with an outgoing that we had, which we'll discuss when we get to that point, this one made sense. Yes, I would have wanted better quality. Yes, I want better. But we complain that we don't have options on the bench, and he will be an option on the bench. Don't get me wrong, in no means necessary do I think that this is a successful transfer. My God, we've got a bargain. I just don't think it is. I just don't. But it's an attacking player, one that we needed. His stats, when you look at it, a lot of his goals he scored in Spain were against lesser opponents. Granted, you can only play what's in front of you, but I would have wanted better, and I think there was better. And of course, the Daniel Levy special, isn't it? The loan deal is £2.5 million. Why spend money when you can do this? And from what I've heard, and I don't know if it's 100% factually true, but that money was wiped away because of outstanding money for Juan Foyth. So basically, it's a free loan. Listen, he could turn out to be something. He really could. I highly doubt it, but he could. But it was an attacking option, nevertheless. And then we get on to the very quick, done like that, Pedro Porro. That was finally announced yesterday, 7 minutes before the deadline was about, or the window was about to close. No doubt in my mind, this was done to keep Spurs busy and say, oh, we were busy wrapping this up and we couldn't focus on other players because this was going ahead. So we had to give all our time and attention to this. I asked myself, and I asked you guys watching, why did all of our attention have to go into this? Because as we know, this from day one was the number one target for Antonio Conte or Tottenham Hotspur. I think Antonio Conte, but we'll see. We'll see what happens during the lineups and see how regularly he gets game time now. Obviously, Conte's news, which I will be talking about as well, throws that kind of bit in the air, but he will still be leading the team from afar and get where Antonio, and we'll speak about that later. So, this deal, the number one target that we knew from January the 1st, and Sporting Lisbon did what they said from the beginning. They said, pay the release fee. It's yours. Pay it in one lump sum. We cannot do a single thing about this. Not one. But we kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to scrimp and save, beg your pardon, to try to hustle, to try and get a cheaper deal in, because I'm Daniel Levy. I have to get a cheap deal in. I have to do it. I'm magical. This is what I win at. I have to win something. So I'm going to win the deal. Well, you didn't. Well, you certainly didn't. And with this, what you had to do was carry on this saga and drum up some more hostility towards you. We've been creeping. We've been discussing. We are going into a meeting about a meeting about the meeting for the meeting to discuss what could possibly happen in the next meeting. It was a joke. It was a joke. And you've got to start thinking, how does that make the player feel? And thankfully he's ours, so he's happy. But this is another reason why, when it comes to negotiations and dealing with transfers, there is not a club out there, whether you're buying their player or trying to sell one of our players, that likes to deal with Daniel Levy. He is the biggest nuisance that you can see. And then obviously we were all hoping this went through, and it was different stories and different rumours. Every single channel was talking about it. We had the legendary Daily Porro from We Are Tottenham TV. Big up Benenson, my brothers. And we just went back and forth, didn't we? Back and forth, when we could have had him for the filth. We could have had him for the NLD. We could have had him for Man City. We could have had him at Preston. We could have had him at Portsmouth. Hell, we could have even been there at Aston Villa. Not playing, been there because we paid the release fee, and there he is, like Liverpool did with Virgil van Dijk, as I often quote back to. But no. We're not going to do that. We're going to struggle. We're going to try and save some money on that deal. The question is, those points we dropped without him could be valuable. Not saying we would have won 6 points with him. Would have stood a damn better chance, that's for damn sure. Those 6 points that we could have lost, or could have got, sorry, if we've lost Champions League revenue next year for not having him, well, that was good, wasn't it? That's smart. That got the job done. But anyway, getting back to it, we all heard the "Here we go" Saturday night after Preston. All good. He's playing. Porro is playing against Porto in the cup final in Portugal, and then he's on the plane. He even said an emotional goodbye to the fans after the game. All good, all wonderful. Come Monday, oh dear, come Monday, and Sporting Lisbon wanted to renege on the deal and move the goalpost. Yes, it was them, but you know what? Fair bloody play to them, because we found out that release fee was only available up until 12 days left of the transfer window. Once those 12 days gone, clause gone. So they played Levy at his own game. They haggled, and let's get this right. When our players are about to be sold, we set a target. They don't go for a penny less. You have to meet a certain person's demands, or not, or the player doesn't go. It's simple. We saw that with Ericsson. We saw that with a host of players. You're not leaving unless this price is matched. Funny how it works when you're trying to sell the player, but when you're trying to buy the player, of course, I'm better than everyone. I know what I'm doing. I'm good. I'm great. So we went through that, and then thankfully, which I don't believe, Daniel Levy came in to save the day on the last minute, on the last day. Now, if people believe that, then that's entirely up to you. He's involved in everything, absolutely everything. And with the Paratici news, do you really think that anyone else was dealing with this negotiation apart from the man himself? Apart from that. But of course, we got the deal announced right at the end of the transfer window, even though other people got deals done within a day, within 3 hours, within 4 hours during the transfer window and on deadline day. Not at Tottenham Hotspur. No, let's keep it going for as long as we can, and then announce it just before the window closes, because then we don't have to worry about going for other people. We can save the day. Hasn't worked this time, Daniel. Hasn't worked this time, Enoch. The knives are out. The knives are out. And it has to have been the crappiest announcement video I've ever seen. But what am I to know? Who cares really about the quality of that? The players are. So to summarise, have we strengthened? Down that right side, unquestionably. You have to say we have strengthened. But have we strengthened enough? That's what I'm going to come to in a minute. So Porro definitely improves our right hand side. Definitely. It looks like we finally got the right back replacement for Kyle Walker. And as I was saying, I tweeted it yesterday saying, people that think Daniel Levy saved the day, well, bravo, Daniel. Bravo. It's only taken 5 seasons, 4 managers, 4 cheap alternatives at a right back, a cheaper solution to replace Kyle Walker, which we spent over 50 million to get, and 31 days of a transfer window to save the day. Let me repeat that again. 5 seasons, 4 managers, 4 crap alternatives, and 31 days of a transfer window to save the day. That doesn't really save any day. And Danjuma, listen, Hill's gone out, he's come in. Has he strengthened or weakened the squad? I think that part stays the same, but with Porro, we have definitely strengthened in the overlooking it in fairness. We have to look at it. Porro greatly improves that right hand side of our squad. Doesn't help the left. Doesn't help the centre backs. Doesn't help the goalkeeper. Doesn't help the creative midfielder that we needed. But it strengthens the right hand side. So only on that am I saying we've strengthened. Not as a massive unit, and my God, we're ready to go. We strengthened as a right-hand sided player. Now we're coming to the outgoings. Once again, has to be loan deals because no one wants to buy our players. And the players that we got, we don't want to sell. So, Brian Hill. I'm really annoyed with this outgoing. Really annoyed. Because yes, I don't think he's going to be the superstar some people do, but he was showing bits. He was starting to show something. May not have lasted all season, may not have gone on to be the right decision, but I would have liked to have kept him here as an attacking option. I was at that Crystal Palace game and he played it brilliantly. And you would and even against Portsmouth, he gave his all, he did everything. So really disappointed with Brian Hill going out. Really disappointed. And someone said to me, is it only at Spurs can we buy Hill for 21 or 25 million and give him Lamella? And then within 18 months, they have the transfer fee, they still have Lamella, and now they got Hill back on loan. How does this happen? How? So basically, we have been mugged by Sevilla. They got 21 or 25 million, whatever the fee was of our money, and both the players. That's robbery. Listen, Brian Hill may get the minutes out there, but he's coming back to the English league, and he's missing out valuable game time in England. So I just don't get this one. Spence, Jed bloody Spence. Well, great business again. As I said, when we're trying to replace Walker, 4 players, 4 cheap alternatives. Not only was Spence one of those 4 cheap alternatives that might have done something, but remember the famous words from Conte. This is a club signing. That's right, a club signing. So with that club signing, he's hardly had game time. And I do give a bit of again, to be fair, I do throw a bit of this blame at Conte because we've had such terrible right wing backs. What was the downside of giving him a chance? Listen, he may have done what he may have come on and done appallingly, and then Conte's right. But he may have come on and done something and might have turned into something. But don't get me wrong, as much as I can throw blame at Conte, I throw 100 times more of this again. And guess who? You got it, Daniel Levy. Because once again, the man doesn't listen, doesn't care, goes for the cheap option rather than the experienced or quality than what Conte wants and what we need. And in this position, more than any, has needed addressing for years. But once again, what do we know? Let's go cheap. Let's go cheerful. Let's see if we can get it for less, even though we've ended up spending more than Kyle Walker. And now he's out on loan. I wish Spence, like I do Hill, all the best on loan. All the best. And I hope he comes back refreshed and is able to really be him and Porro as the two right wing backs of choice. Because I do think there's a player there. But I wanted Conte to have his right wing back, not Levy's right wing back. The fact that he's only had a fair few minutes is Conte's issue, and he'll be held accountable for that. But it is what it is. He made it very clear from the start, Conte, that this was not what he wanted. But hey ho, what does the manager know? What does a multi-trophy winning and league title winning manager know about transfers? There we come on to Matt Doherty. So I'm going to do a bit about this afterwards. So I will speak briefly about Doherty. Listen, he was a bad buy. He was a bad buy. Showed glimpses under Conte. He did show a few glimpses under Conte, but then he got that injury. But again, another player. I doubt Jose Mourinho said, "Do you know what? Go get me Matt Doherty. He's the right wing back or right back that I need to play in this team. That's the one I need." I highly doubt it. So we have three right wing backs at the club. Two of them have obviously got out on loan, or we say loan. We say loan now. This is it broke on Sky Sports News yesterday morning, out of the blue, or late Monday evening. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure which one it was. That Antonio Conte, that Matt Doherty was going to Atletico Madrid. What a bolt from the blue that was. What a total and utter bolt from the blue. But that deal was a loan deal. It was a loan deal. It was a loan deal. It was a loan deal. He was coming back in the summer, 1 year on his contract left. And then all of a sudden, we've reached our loan quota. He can't go out on loan. And this was just before the window was closing. So you look at this. We have people, Spurs have got a great legal team. They got Bissouma. That's why they did their due diligence on Bissouma. Apparently, they did their great work on Paratici. They did their due diligence. I beg your pardon. And then you have this. So this is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, ladies and gentlemen. A club that says it's a Big Six club, wants to be a Big Six club, has all the top facilities and top lawyers and everything in the world, but they can't count. Can you believe it? They cannot count the amount of loan people we have out or know about the rule, about the loan quota of people abroad, with the whole clan that we've got out. What is going on at this football club? How is this allowed to happen just when you think things can't? Just one day, just one ordinary day is all we want at this football club. We have the Porro breaking down. We have these outgoings. And then we have to terminate Matt Doherty's contract because we've reached our loan quota. It just beggars belief. So obviously, people are getting this big stuff saying, "Oh, it's brilliant news. We got rid of him. We weren't going to get money for it. He's off the payroll. He's off this. He's off that." I agree. Do I think we could have got something back from him in the summer with 12 months left on his contract? Yeah, probably. Do I think it would have been a very cheap deal? Yeah, probably. But we've had to terminate his contract and mutually agree to pay it off. Given that option of getting anybody for him, and had to terminate his contract because people at the club, this big club, this top club, they don't know the rules of football. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. And actually, that's reminded me of something, talking of Porro as well. We've had to, so we could have paid the release fee. Yeah, it's now become a loan, which Sporting wanted, not us, so I can't go mad at that. But we're giving them more money, and we've taken money off the Sporting Lisbon, the Marcus Edwards sell-on fee. So we're actually going to end up. Look, it beggars belief. It beggars belief. So before I go on to the next few things, I'm just going to wrap up this transfer window. So if we look at it, yes, we got Hill and Spence out, Doherty out permanently. Hill and Spence are coming back, as is potentially Harry Winks, Joe Rodon, Lo Celso, and Dembele. We still need 2 centre-backs. We still need an elite keeper, elite centre-backs as well, a Kulusevski backup or competition, a creative midfielder. We still don't know what's going on with Antonio Conte and Harry Kane with their contracts. So we are walking into this summer with all that Deadwood coming back. Still for the 3 windows when we've been dying for centre-backs, not address the centre-back. We need 2 of them. Hugo Lloris needs a replacement, and that is a replacement. We need a creative midfielder, which we didn't address, and competition for Kulu. I mean, what more can you say about that? Plus, we've got to pay Kulusevski's fee at the end of the summer, Porro's fee at the end of the summer. So it's just another day at Tottenham Hotspur and another window where Levy has pulled a blinder for people that are Levy in or Levy on the fence. And he's done it again. We have spent £5 million on a loan deal, which will become an obligation. We apparently don't have the money, but we're about to promote or post record financials, profits and revenue coming in. World record, apparently, but record for us. But we have no money. And we've done it again for another window. And they even said, as the goal quoted, saying next summer we're going to identify the 2 centre backs and the goalkeeper that we need in the summer. That's all right then, isn't it? What are we worried about? What are we worried about? Next summer, people. It's all going to happen next summer. Well, that was said last summer, and it was said in January, and the January before, and the summer before, and the January before, and the summer before. And it keeps on going. So I can't wait to see when these financials are posted, because we're in February and it's coming. It's coming very, very soon. Which brings us on to another thing. This morning, the Supporters Trust have tweeted and said tomorrow those 4 questions are going to be answered by the club. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait to see the response from this. I cannot. Simply, I don't know what bullshit we're going to hear. I don't know what lies we're going to hear. But it's going to be a lot of fun to see. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I am going to be waiting for these answers from the Trust's questions with such anticipation that tomorrow is going to be an exciting day. Tomorrow is going to be an exciting day of finding out how he's going to try and squirm his way out of this, or what bullshit answers people are going to swallow because it's going to be full of nonsense. It's going to be full of nonsense or delayed. They've said tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But let us know in the comments, in the YouTube comments, what you have thought of our transfer activity, our incomings, our outgoings, the reaching the loan quota, the supporters' trust questions being answered, and another thing's just come to me. So I'm going to take this off. Within 24 hours, within, so we're at 1 o'clock, 1:25 UK time at time of recording. Window closed at 11 o'clock. So we're 14 hours after the window shut, and Spurs are about to announce and sign a deal with South African Travel for another sponsorship. One day, not even half a day, just over half a day before another revenue source comes in for the player to come in that will not go back into supporting the team. The lies and bullshit that come out of this club are like no other. Like no other. And brilliant. South African Travel will be our new South African Travel official partner to go with the beds, the cars, the paint, and the toiletries. So phenomenal news. This bloody club, Banter Goddamn FC. It is undeniable that we are a business, not a football club anymore. It really is. I just don't know what to say about this. Here we go again with this bullshit and nonsense, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens when the supporters' trust have their answers, and most importantly, when those financials come out. And finally, we woke up to the news today that Antonio has now had to stay in hospital and have a surgery to remove his gallbladder. Something I know a lot about. My wife had to have hers removed in September. Very painful. I will need a bit of resting time. So Antonio Conte is not going to be on the sidelines for a month, maybe 2. Some people are even saying God knows if he'll be back. I must admit, I'm one of them. I'm one of them after thinking about it. But on the sidelines now, we don't even have Antonio Conte to motivate, to galvanise, to do everything he needs. But on behalf of everyone at Tottenham On Tour and all Spurs fans, Antonio, wishing you a very, very, very speedy recovery. So that's it, basically, in a nutshell. The players have come in, the players have gone out. We've reached our loan quota. The supporters' trust will be having their questions answered. And Antonio get well. And we wait for the record profits to come through. And we see what goes on with this football club. But I, for one, am absolutely fuming once again with this pathetic excuse of a window. I'm fuming at the tension that there is between the fans caused by this Levy out, Levy in divide, which is all down to Levy being the prick that he is. I'm sick and tired of sponsorships. I'm sick and tired of embarrassments like our loan quota. I'm sick and tired of people thinking that everything is rosy when it's not, and that we're miraculously in a wonderful place right now compared to our history. I'm sick of it. You know where I'll be Sunday at the game and protesting. Hopefully Tottenham On Tour will be doing a lot more. Please like, subscribe, and leave your comments. And as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Please leave your comments on YouTube. I'll try and get back to as many as I can. And as always, Levy out.